Bossman Dlow is someone who has been an absolute hit factory recently. And for good reason. His lyricism is fire, he has crazy energy, and his flows are super unique and refreshing. But one thing I love above all else is his high octane production. So today, I'm going to be giving you guys a peek behind the curtain and going over all of Bossman Dlow's production secrets. And with that being said, the beat we're going over today sounds a little something like this. First thing we're going to go over today is going to be the melody. And you're going to want to start off with some kind of piano. Now, we're in the key of G minor, and with this piano, you're going to want to play a progression going from the 5 to the 6 of your minor scale. And the 5 and 6 in any minor scale are going to be one semitone away from each other, which is perfect for creating dark and sinister melodies. So once you have the root notes of your progression laid out, you can start building a super basic melody on top of it. You don't want to go too crazy with it. And some notes you can make use of are going to be the root of the scale, as well as any half-step intervals, which yet again are notes that are just one semitone away from each other. And for any minor scale, there's going to be two half-step intervals. It's the 2 and the 3 of the scale, and the 5 and the 6. So right here, I just have our piano melody playing a pretty high octave pattern, but down below, I duplicate the root notes and have them playing very low in the octaves. So with that being said, this is what our piano melody sounds like. So now that we have the progression of our melody established, we can move on to the next portion, which is going to be orchestral components. I've noticed that Bossman Dlow likes to incorporate some kind of orchestral components into his beats, like strings, brass, tubular bells, all that stuff. And in this beat, we're making use of all three of those things. So firstly, I want to cover the strings. So for these strings, I'm just playing our root note yet again, and I also double them and put them 7 semitones up. And this essentially just creates a 5th harmony with your root note. And on top of that, I have a high lead melody, yet again, making use of those half-step intervals. Literally, if you want to have a dark feel to your melodies, just use half-step intervals. It's that simple. On top of that, I have down this low octave brass. And for this, we're just playing our root notes, but we have them doubled in the octaves to make the brass feel much more big and cinematic. And then for the final orchestral component, I threw down this tubular bell. And the main purpose for this is to maintain energy in my melody and to really emphasize those downbeats. So right here, we build tension with this D sharp and have the tension released on the downbeats with D. And then just as a background component, I have down this Rhodes piano, but it's not super important, so I'm not going to go over it. So yeah, for the melody, you're going to want to make use of the 5 and the 6 of your scale for your root notes. You're going to want to make sure you have down a piano melody, and you're going to want to include orchestral components like strings, brass, bells, all that kind of stuff. So with that being said, this is what the melody sounds like all together. Alright, so now the next portion of the beat we're going to go over are the drums. And obviously, the first thing you're going to want to throw down is some kind of big, punchy 808. And you really want this thing booming. I usually have my 808s for these kind of beats sitting somewhere at around 0 to plus 3 decibels. But just leave it up to ear. Whatever sounds good to you, sounds good to you. And for this 808, we're playing a relatively simple pattern while leaving room for other drum components later. And also, this goes without saying, but make sure you use the root notes of your melody for your 808. After that, you're going to want to throw down your essential drum sounds like a snare and a hi-hat, but those are relatively simple. It's just playing a normal snare pattern and a 2-step hi-hat, so I don't really have to go over that. But what I do want to go over is something that is absolutely essential for these beats, and that's going to be Detroit-style percussion. Now, I know Bossman Dlow isn't from Detroit, but these percussion sounds are very indicative of Detroit's production. So for the percussion, I only have 2 sounds. I have this one, and this one. And you're just gonna wanna place these sparsely throughout your drum pattern and have them playing either this 3-note cluster or this 5-note cluster. This is what people are gonna hear and be like, oh yeah, that's a Bossman Dlow type beat. Like, this is what makes or breaks the sound. So this is what the first perk sounds like, and this is what the second perk sounds like. And now the last part of the drums that I want to go over is going to be the use of open hats and how it can really assist you with maintaining energy throughout your beats. So I just have this chunk right here. We're going to call this the chorus. For the first part of the chorus, I do not have the open hat playing. And for the second part of the chorus, I do have the open hat playing. As well as that, I use these reverse open hats to lead into the second part of the chorus and to maintain the energy within that second part. Whether it be with open hats, percussion, different parts of the melody, etc., you're going to want to add or remove these components at certain points of your beat if you want to maintain energy throughout it. And I find that doing it with open hats is extremely effective. So with that being said, this is what the final beat sounds like. And I want you to really listen to the effect that adding the open hat on the second part of the chorus has on the energy of the track. With that being said, that is going to completely cover how to make high octane beats for Bossman Dlow. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial and learned something new. If you have any questions at all, throw them in the comments down below and I will do my best to answer them. Also, check out my Patreon where I post the FLPs to all of my beats in all of my videos, including this one. That way, if you wanted to study the mixing, the mastering, the melody, the drums, all that kind of stuff, it's right at your fingertips. Also, sorry, my mic stand just fell, so I'm carrying it for the rest of the video. Also, consider subscribing as I post one tutorial a week and one sound kit a month. Other than that, it's going to be it.